What is inguinal hernia? The protrusion of the abdominal contents through the inguinal canal is known as inguinal hernia. It is of two types, direct and indirect. To understand the differences between the direct and indirect, let us first consider how the testis descends into the scrotum. Now, in the fetal life, the testis lies in the abdominal cavity and then gradually it descends down into the scrotum. In the abdominal cavity, it lies on the posterior abdominal wall covered anteriorly by the peritoneum. The lower pole of the testis is attached to the scrotal swelling or the developing scrotum by a mesenchymal tissue that is known as gubernaculum. As the abdominal wall evolves, the testis comes to lie at this position, that is at the deep inguinal ring. Now, as the testis descends further down, it carries with it a process of peritoneum that is known as processus vaginalis. This descends down to the end of the scrotum. Along with it, there is descent of the anterior abdominal wall muscles. This diagram again shows the testis that is attached to the scrotal swelling by this gubernaculum. Then there is a descent of fold of peritoneum that is known as processus vaginalis. And along with it, there is descent of the anterior abdominal wall muscles, which will form the coverings around the spermatic cord in the future, as we have already discussed it in my previous video. Now, what is the fate of this processus vaginalis? As we can see, the distal part of it will form the covering around the testis that is known as the tunica vaginalis, and the proximal part gets obliterated like this. So there is obliteration of the proximal part of processus vaginalis. If this part of the processus vaginalis remains patent, then this is an easy way for the hernia to develop. Now, this is the pathology that lies behind the indirect inguinal hernia. To understand the two types of hernia, let us go through this diagram. This is the inguinal ligament that extends from the anterior superior iliac spine to the pubic tubercle. Above the medial half of the inguinal ligament lies the inguinal canal. Inguinal canal extends from this deep inguinal ring to the superficial inguinal ring. Now, we have discussed that indirect inguinal hernia occurs through a patent processus vaginalis through this deep inguinal ring. Now, let us consider this inferior epigastric artery. The deep inguinal ring lies lateral to the inferior epigastric artery. Now, the indirect inguinal hernia, it enters through the deep inguinal ring, passes through the inguinal canal, and then exits through the superficial inguinal ring and then goes down into the scrotum. But the neck of this hernia lies lateral to the inferior epigastric artery, as the deep inguinal ring lies lateral to it. Now, coming to the other type of the hernia, that is the direct inguinal hernia. The direct inguinal hernia occurs through this triangle that is known as Hesselbach's triangle. Let's discuss the boundaries of this triangle. Medially, it is bounded by the lateral border of rectus abdominis. Laterally lies these inferior epigastric vessels, and the floor is formed by the inguinal canal. Now, the direct inguinal hernia occurs through this Hesselbach's triangle. The abdominal contents protrude forward through this area, and it occurs in the middle age or in the old age due to the weakness of the abdominal muscles in the anterior abdominal wall lying here. So, it is very clear from this diagram, the neck of the direct inguinal hernia lies medial to the inferior epigastric vessels. Thank you.